Welcome everybody to the X Factor podcast. Welcome today on this great Wednesday morning, afternoon, whenever the video comes out. Today we're going to be going through NXT Spring Breakin' from last night. Also, before we get into any of that, remember to follow the socials. They're both going to be at the ending video, or at the end of the video. Twitter, we're just getting close to 800 followers, and TikTok, we're just getting about to 800 followers, so we're growing. And YouTube, we're about the same as we were about a month ago. And we're gonna get right into it. And I'm gonna go with a quick one because, a quick one with the playoff, the NHL playoffs are going, the NBA playoffs are going, so I'm just going to get a quick rundown with those. I'm going to start with the NHL playoffs. So far, Dallas Stars, the Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas Golden Knights are 1-0. I expect them to take them out of the water. The formerly champs will obviously go to the second round. Winnipeg versus Colorado. Them two are going up toss-up. They won 5-2 against the Jets. It's going to be a decent series. I think Avalanche will go over in that one. Capitals, Rangers, they both are been going at it. The Rangers lead 2-0. Expect them to go out and finish the next two. The Panthers and the Lightning, Florida Panthers, expect them to come out going to 3-0. Predators and Canucks, they're tied right now 1-1, but I expect the Predators to get going in the later part of this bracket. Next, you got the Bruins and Maple Leafs. They're tied 1-1. Bruins and Maple Leafs are going to have a good series. I think Maple Leafs will go out with the win there. The Kings and Oilers. The Kings, I got the Kings going out in this one. And there's your rundown for your NHL playoffs and who I think will win. NBA playoffs are way different. So far, you have the 76ers versus the Knicks. The way the 76ers have been playing, and the whole stuff with Joel Embiid, he was, still dealing with the knee injury. I expect him to at least get 2 games out of this, but I expect the Knicks to come out and finish the series off. Jalen Brunson is one of their best players on the team, and I expect him to be the sole man to help finish it out for him. Alright, sorry. Lost my train of thought here. Bucks, Pacers, they're tied 1-1 right now. Ever since they hired the Bucks have hired Doc Rivers, it hasn't been the same result as it is with Ben Griffin, their former head coach. I get bad defense, and why they fired Griffin, but Doc Rivers has done, in my opinion, he's done a worse job. I don't think we could see them in the championship or even past the second round if they don't get something straight. And the Pacers are hot. Trace Halliburton, he's been going off. So it's going to be a very fun series, but I do think Milwaukee will come up at the end in the first round. The Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Pelicans. I think the Thunder have beat them every time this season, I believe. So I expect the Thunder to keep going with it and get a clean sweep off the Pelicans. The Suns and Timberwolves. They're another really hot young team coming through in the playoffs. Ant Edwards is becoming a force of reckoning with over there in Minnesota. And honestly, the Suns, they're choke artists. They always have been. Ever since Devin Booker's been there, they just choke. It doesn't matter if you have Bradley Beal or Kevin Durant or whoever's on that team at this point. To me, they're not They're not even gonna win a championship with that roster. Um, in my opinion, there's still a lot of teams that are better than them. So, and then you got the Lakers and Nuggets. They are. There's been the last game was a pretty heated afterwards. I expect the Nuggets to go and finish it off in 6. And then Ham, the head coach for the Lakers, he seems clueless. He might be more. I don't know how he ends up with a coaching job, but he is clueless all around the court, and it's going to cause for some drama coming off season if they don't make it to a championship run. The Cavaliers and Magic. Cavaliers, they're finally back in playoff form. I believe they were in the playoffs last year, but I feel like this is a bigger chance for them to prove themselves to get into a championship. And they're facing the Magic, who are a really young team, so I don't expect the younger team in the Magic to be ready right now, but I expect them in the next 2 or 3 years to be fully championship ready. So I'm going to go with the Cavaliers, and I think they're going to win in 5. The Celtics and the Heat. The Heat beat them last year in an upset. And, Jimmy Butler not being around at this point, I expect the Celtics to kind of run through them a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if Heat came out with a win, at least one win in the whole series, but Celtics, they got this. They've been playing like the best team all year. And then the Dallas Mavericks and the Los Angeles Clippers. I feel like with the Clippers, since they've had Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, and plus adding James Harden, if it's not injuries, it's drama, and I feel like, with James Harden, he's always had drama everywhere he goes. And it's either going to be injuries or drama that gets him when they play Dallas. I think Dallas will take him in this first round, with a lot of people even saying that Dallas was going to lose. I don't think so. I think Luka and Kyrie and Derek Lively, I think and then underrated stars like Tim Hardaway, I feel like they got a good chance of getting past this first round. And then once they got to play the Thunder, that's going to be a whole different situation for them. That's when you know when they're ready to come play ball. So there's your first round, in my opinion, who's going to win, and also how some of these games are going. I will keep update throughout the rest of this the playoffs for each side. But yeah, like I said, follow the Twitter, follow the TikTok, and remember to subscribe if you like any more sports content related stuff like this. And also, the NFL draft is coming right around the corner, literally in like 2 days. It's happening, so I expect a lot coming through with the mock drafts and everything, and I got the mock drafts coming up just real soon. So we're gonna get right back into it though with NXT talk. The first match of the night, which is NXT Spring Breakin', Roxanne Perez, Lala Valkyria, Tatum Paxley. This has been a rivalry between all three of them that's been going on for the last month or so. And they came out. They all looked very good. Tatum Paxley looked like a championship contender. Lala Valkyria and Roxanne, they did their thing. They are always great together in the ring. And they came out, and Tatum Paxley had a false finish moment where she did a 450, and then Roxanne rolled her up and came for the win, which is interesting because I think Lyra is going right up to the main roster. There's nothing else for her to really do, in my opinion, except feud with Tatum, of course. But with the draft coming around, it makes it obvious about what's happening. And Roxanne, I don't think she's going around. I think she's gonna have a little bit of a title run, and then I think the one that should beat her is probably Tatum. Tatum has been improved so much over the last year, in like these last couple of months, that I think she has deserved a title around her waist, and whether if it's the North American Championship, it's coming out soon, or if it's this championship, she definitely deserves some gold on hers. And they also had a beautiful match. The family faced the No Quarter Catch Crew. Like I said, this is another one of those little under rivalries that of getting rid of Drew Gulak and all that. They came out. They had a good match. I will come out and say that. The Catch Crew, I feel like they always have good matches coming through with them. Bourne, he looks like a modern day Randy Orton. He's built like him. He a little bit kind of looks like him. I expect him to be a star in WWE, and depending on how this goes with the Catch Crew, who knows? The one thing I don't like though is with the Heritage Cup that they have Charlie Dempsey. They have all of them defending it, because it kind of takes away Charlie Dempsey a little bit, because Charlie Dempsey is an amazing wrestler, and if he's not the only one, if he has to help, if other people have to help defend it, to me it takes away a little bit of him for a little bit. It takes something off of him, which I feel like that cup could really help him in the upcoming months and all that, trying to get him into their major star. But Tony D'Angelo and Charlie Dempsey, we've noticed that they are starting to get really well in the ring together. Tony D'Angelo did pin Charlie Dempsey, so I expect them to have a title match, and I think that match would be beautiful. And it would be definitely a match of the year contender for NXT, but it would be a really fun one to watch. And if you really like grappling down to the mat, technical wrestling, Charlie Dempsey's your guy. And I feel like we don't get those many anymore in WWE, because they're all about storylines and characters. But if you look at other companies, they have so many of them just sitting around, and a lot of them that would like to have the opportunity that a guy like Charlie Dempsey has. Fallon Henley faced Jada Parker. A backstage interview happened with Fallon and Thea Hale. Jada Parker came up, was tired of them talking locker room high school girl stuff, I would say, is what it really is. Or it's to me, it's how it looks like sometimes, or for some of their promos. They came out, they had an alright match. Jada Parker, she can definitely be a future. Looks like she has charisma to her. I just don't know about OTM being with her. I'm not a really big thing on. I'm not really high on OTM. Her, I'm really high on, but I'm not really high on the rest of them. And in Fallon Henley, she's been in the same spot for like 2 years now. So, like I said, I don't know what's gonna happen with her. She's been in the same spot for a couple years. But they came out, they had a good match. Nothing really much to come out of that. Lola Vice and Natalia came out talking about their match, the first ever women's underground match at NXT. And Carmen Petrovic was the one who's been training Natalia, getting ready for the match. Lola Vice comes out and shows that Shayna Baszler is the one that's going to be in her corner helping her train, which is huge because Shayna Baszler just had a Bloodsport match with Masha Stemovich over in TNA, and it was in GCW Bloodsport just a month ago. And Shayna Baszler is one of the best when it comes to MMA style, technical, masterpiece wrestling. She's amazing at it. And plus Lola Vice also being part of MMA at one point, I feel like it just makes a very good partnership for this. And plus, Shayna Baszler and Natalia used to be together with each other at one point. So storyline wise, it even makes it more deeper than it is. But I feel like that match next week, it's gonna be a good match. I wouldn't expect anything like over the top crazy, but who knows when you're facing Lola Vice. Um, and with Natalia, it's with Natalia, it's one of those things like you never know what could happen because for her, it feels like at one point she gets washed and then she'll come out with like a banger and you don't know what happens next, but that's just how she rolls with things, I guess. Blair Davenport faced Solo Ruka in a beach brawl, and that was a very fun match to watch. Them two came out, beat the hell out of each other. Solo Ruka has become one of my favorite NXT wrestlers on the main roster or on the NXT roster. Blair Davenport, I feel like she is just been at the middle. Like it feels like she can be a champion, but she's just been stuck there. Um, so it's kind of confusing how that. And if they would have put her on Monday Night Raw roster, she would cook. Monday Night Raw roster, women's roster is desperately needing some women wrestlers. I feel like Blair would be perfect fit for that. Sol Ruka, she's gonna be a future star. She's gonna be once we get some of these NXT wrestlers out and start with this new generation of women wrestlers or this new era of women that are coming through. Sol Ruka will definitely be a number one in all that. Um, and as long as they don't ruin them like they did Cameron Grimes and release them, which I'll get into here in a little bit. So that is, and like I said, they had a very good match. I'm just looking forward to see what happens at the draft. Baron Corbin faced Lexis King. Lexis King pretty much offered him to be his tag partner. Corbin didn't really like that idea. But they came out. They had an alright match. I'm not really liking the whole Lexis King thing. I would wish it just go back to Brian Pillman Jr. And Baron Corbin, he's been a guy who's had his career pretty much revived with Shawn Michaels. When a time when we all thought he was going to get released, he ends up going to NXT, rebrands his entire character, and he's better than ever, in my opinion. So that is that is a plus, and I also expect him to be part, trying to get a singles championship in this run with NXT, or he maybe goes back up to the main roster as a babyface and try to do something with that. But like I said, it's just you don't want to do the wrong thing because we've seen how some of these NXT guys go back up to the main roster and knowing how they go. And then you get to the main event, Trick Williams versus Ilya Dragunov for the NXT Championship, and easily the best match of the night. These two came out swinging. This match came out, even though it was a TV match, they hyped this up like it was a WrestleMania main event. Like you had main stars from each show showing up to watch this match, and they came out and they had a blast. Ilya Dragunov is one of the best wrestlers in AEW, in WWE. And he did lose in a phenomenal matchup. They kind of had a callback to their Vengeance Day matchup with, they run at each other and see which one hits the finisher first. Ilya Dragunov hit the one at Vengeance Day. Trick hit the one this time and ended up winning. I know people were trying to, try to compare it to the Will Ospreay, or like they're trying to copy Will Ospreay and Danielson. No, both spots from each match were good. We're good though, so no reason to have some tribalism bullcrap coming through with all that. No one copied, and plus, if they really want to get technical, wrestling gets copied all the time. Like we had Blue Dust in ECW. Like, come on now. We have Blue Cane in the indie scene. Like, wrestling gets copied and wrestling gets rewrote all the time, and a lot of people don't even realize it. But to let them fit their agenda, they'll come up and make something up or whatever. But Trick Williams is your new NXT champion. He's going to be the man, the face of NXT, as everyone that has been holding down the throne for the last couple of years is sliding away over the main roster, which is going to be great to see how they all work out. And Trick, I feel like he's going to be one of those best. He's got a long reign, I think, and which is deserved because you got to get some heels built up. Like Dijak could be a potential guy that could take him. You know, if they turn Corbin back heel, maybe. Um, what the hell is Eddie Thorpe been? Remember Eddie Thorpe? I love that guy. He hasn't been around for a while. Um, so, but now we need to get into it with a little bit of something else. Cameron Grimes got released from WWE earlier yesterday, and it leaves a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth. Like, yes, he got fired. It's still sad and everything, but it's the decline of Cameron Grimes needs to be studied, and it's not even his fault. NXT, he looking great. He was a North American champion. I believe he was a $1 million champion. He had a feud with LA Knight. He had a feud with Carmelo Hayes. Like, the future looked bright for him. And he was very entertaining and really good in the ring. So it's like, how could you not say no to this guy? Well, they bring him out to the main roster. Very confusing too, by the way. And he's pretty much a punching bag for everyone else. To me, I feel like they disrespected Cameron Grimes a lot, aka Trevor Lee. I feel like they disrespected him a lot because they never even gave him a chance. And the chance that he did get, it's either he had a 10-second match against Baron Corbin, or it was a squash match against Braun Breaker. You didn't really see much of Cameron Grimes. And that's a lot on Triple H. And I said the same thing about Jinder and all them with Veer about the Indian characters, or the stereotypes. If you don't have the creativity, or if you don't have nothing for certain people that should be stars, then that should tell you how you're, who you're working with, and you need to fix it. They fumbled Cameron Grimes so hard. Like, I'm surprised he wasn't even in the U.S. title division with how desperately they needed people around there. And they still didn't do nothing with him. It was very sad to see. And that should also tell you about how some of them, who some of them are in creative that should probably be gone, because this is, and if Triple H is taking notes from many of them, then a lot of them should be gone, because how do you mess up on a guy like Cameron Grimes? Hell, they fired fucking Mustafa Ali. Like, they've had some of the greatest moments so far with Triple H in this era, but they have made quite a few questionable decisions when it comes to certain talent. Liv Morgan lost the Battle Royal. They released Mustafa Ali. They released Dolph Ziggler, Shelton Benjamin. I don't know, I can't really say they fumbled on Karrion Kross, because they gave him multiple shots, and the crowds on Raw and SmackDown, who are, like, people that go to the shows, they just suck. Like, I don't know how you just go to a show and not make a reaction. The guy's a bad guy, boom, you're supposed to boom. Like, if you're just gonna be there and be quiet, it's, what's the point of going when you're just gonna sit there and be quiet? And with Cameron Grimes, he could have been a big star, and they fumbled him. But now it's see what the future's like for Trevor Lee. I expect him to show up in the TNA with the X Division title where Mustafa Ali is. I expect him to show up there. It's either there, or he shows up at AEW does something in AEW at some point. But it'll be very interesting to see where he goes. But I think the main case is going to be the X Division title over there in TNA. That is all I got for y'all today. Tomorrow, we're getting the NFL mock draft set. And this is with trades of what, in my opinion, what could happen. So stay blessed. Have a good day. Follow the Twitter. Follow the TikTok. It'll show up at the end of the video. And happy Hanukkah. Bye.